Hello everyone. Today we're gonna do a basic overview of a guide for buying a used bike. Today we're gonna be looking at this multi-track. It's kind of a blend between a road bike and a mountain bike. And what it does is it has a suspension in the front, and the tires are a little wider than what you would find on your regular road bike, and not as thick and knobby as what you would have on a mountain bike. It has a flat bar like a mountain bike, but then the rest of the bike is somewhat of a road bike. So when it comes to a little more detail, when it comes to sizing, so the important things you're looking for when you just get a bike and it's on the ground is the saddle height and the dimension from the saddle height, roughly from the point where you're sitting, in relationship to the handlebar. So basically, if I get on this bike over here, I would like to have some clearance from the top tube when I have my feet on the ground. Ideally, when you lift the bike, you would have about 2 inches. And this is just a rough estimate. I mean, there's some personal preferences. And then when you're sitting on the bike, you want to see how the handlebar feels when you're sitting on the seat and you're comfortable, that you're not too stretched out and also you're not too cramped. Either one of those is just not gonna work out for you in the long run, and you're not going to enjoy the bike as much as you would if it's the right size for you. As far as the seat height, you should measure your inseam and then get roughly 88% of your inseam and measure that as the distance from the top of your saddle to the center of the bottom bracket. When you get that, you get a good baseline for a proper bend in your knee. If the seat is too low, then it's kind of like you pedaling with your legs always bent. If the seat is too high, you end up rocking your pelvis on the seat and wasting energy and overstretching your knees. Another important thing is the condition of the tires. I mean, if they're dry rotted or if they're worn, then basically you'll need to replace them, and you need to factor the replacement cost of the tires into your purchase. The other thing to look for is the condition of the drivetrain. So basically you want to look at the chain, see if it's rusty, and if it is rusty, then that might be indication that the whole bike didn't get a lot of maintenance throughout. So that will be kind of a red flag or a caution flag for you. So checking the chain, if it's lubricated or if it's rusty. So when it comes to gears, the important thing is that the shifters are indexed properly. What it means is when you shift the gear on the handlebar, you get the proper shift on the cassette. So with one click, you should be getting a movement in the up or down direction. So that's how you would check indexing of bike gears. You have indexing on the rear, and then you have 2 or 3 chain rings in the front. Same thing. One click should yield 1 gear change. You want to check these before you buy a bike. So this bike comes with a disc brake. So one thing to look at when you're evaluating disc brakes or kind of making sure they work is that the rotor is not bent, that it doesn't have a warp on it. And the way you would go about that is basically spin the wheel and see if it has any kind of rub going on either side of the brake pads. This one is nice and straight and there are no issues. And then when you press the brake lever, you want to make sure it brakes nicely, but that's something you can check out on your test ride. Always get a test ride before you buy a bike. Never buy it without test riding it first. So once you go through the basic essentials of looking at the tires, the brakes, and checking the chain and the gears, if they work. The other thing that's very important is the condition of the bearings. There are several bearings on the bike frame. The bearings in the wheels, so basically you want to make sure that there's no play in the bearings from side to side. There are also bearings in the headset. You want to make sure it's adjusted correctly. So when you grab a front brake and you rock the bike back and forth, you want to make sure there's no play in here. You want to check for bearing play, wheel play in the rear wheel. You just take it by the tire and basically try to rock it to side to side. And you also want to check if there's any play in the bottom bracket. Again, grabbing one of the crank arms and just trying to pull it side to side. It should be nice and tight, and there should be no place in any of those areas. And there you have it. This is the basic overview of what you need to look for when you're buying a used bike. Remember, it's got to be the right size. If it doesn't fit you, you're not gonna enjoy it. It's not gonna get you what you want. It's got to be the right type. If you're all about racing, then this bike is definitely not for you. And the most important thing I forgot to mention throughout this whole video is it's got to be the right color, because if you don't like it, if you don't like the way it looks, you're not going to enjoy riding it. Hope you liked the video. Hope it was helpful. Please give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to see you in the next one. Thanks.